Hey, Raiders Nation. We are diving deep into what has been one of the most chaotic, unpredictable seasons in recent memory for our Las Vegas Raiders. Honestly, if you've been following along, you know the feeling. Every week feels like a roller coaster that never ends, and sometimes it seems like we're trapped on the ride with no brakes. But here we are, looking straight at the final 3 games of the season. And while that might sound scary at first, there's a strange sense of hope tucked into that challenge. We're talking about turning the chaos, the frustration, and the heartbreak into something that could actually set the stage for a fresh start. If the Raiders can navigate the next 3 matchups strategically, even if it means losses, it could pave the way for a future that's actually worth getting excited about. Starting with Week 16 in Houston, this game stands out as the one that could be the toughest test yet. Facing a team that is disciplined, aggressive, and loaded with talent is never easy, and with the Raiders having struggled at times to find consistency on both sides of the ball, the matchup feels like walking into the eye of the storm. The Texans have been a team that can punish mistakes, and we've seen firsthand how turnovers, missed assignments, and miscommunication can turn a game in the blink of an eye. But at the same time, this is where resilience is built. There is something almost poetic about being forced to confront the strongest challenge head-on. Week 17 brings the Giants into focus, and while some might see this as a slightly more manageable opponent, the Giants are a team with a solid game plan and the ability to capitalize on opportunities. Then comes Week 18, the Kansas City Chiefs, who, despite recent struggles, remain a historic powerhouse that knows how to dominate under pressure. Every one of these games tests the Raiders in a different way, and if we can learn from the challenges, there is a sense that the lessons we gain here could be instrumental for the seasons ahead. I can't help but reflect on what it feels like to go through this as a fan. There's a certain surreal quality to watching a team fight week after week, knowing that the outcome might not be what we hope for, but still being drawn into the drama and the tension. It's like being stuck in a nightmare that keeps repeating itself, only to realize that at the end of it, there might be a silver lining. Every time I walk into work or start my day, I can't shake the feeling that we're all waiting for the moment when this season finally turns a corner. And sometimes it's that very anticipation, that longing for change, that keeps the excitement alive even when results haven't gone our way. There's something strangely compelling about the possibility that the worst moments of a season could actually lay the foundation for the best future moves, particularly when it comes to positioning the team for a high draft pick. Speaking of opportunities, let's talk about the quarterback situation because that's where a lot of the tension and hope intersect. Geno Smith's potential return in Week 16 against Houston could inject some much-needed energy into the offense. Facing a defense that ranks at the top in points allowed per game is never simple, and the Raiders' offensive struggles make this a true test. But for Smith, this is a chance to prove his mettle, to show that he can handle pressure, and to set the tone for how the team moves forward. Every pass attempt, every read, every drive could become a defining moment, not just for the outcome of a single game, but for the overall morale and direction of the squad. The numbers tell a story of offensive struggles, with yards gained and points scored consistently falling below expectations. Yet within that struggle lies a potential for growth, an opportunity for players to rise to the occasion, to develop chemistry, and to gain invaluable experience that can pay dividends in future seasons. Now, it wouldn't be a Raiders update without talking about some of the rising talent on the roster. Charles Grant, for instance, has shown flashes of promise that are difficult to ignore. In limited snaps, he has demonstrated solid footwork, impressive arm length, and the physicality required to make an impact at the next level. While comparisons are often made to other offensive linemen in the rotation, it's clear that Grant has an upside that could be crucial for the team's rebuilding efforts. Watching him work alongside other young talents, experimenting with different combinations and packages, provides a glimpse of what could become a more stable and effective offensive line in the seasons ahead. Every play, every snap, and every adjustment adds layers to our understanding of his potential and the ways he could influence games when given consistent opportunities. The coaching decisions this season have been a mix of puzzling and inspiring, often leaving fans scratching their heads while also hoping for moments of brilliance. There have been questionable calls and rotations, but also moments where experimentation could yield long-term benefits. The handling of rookies and young talent has shown that there is awareness of the team's future needs, even if execution in the moment has faltered. When you balance the current struggles with the potential for growth, the picture becomes more nuanced. It's not just about wins and losses in the immediate term. It's about building a foundation, developing players, and creating systems that can sustain success once the team is fully healthy and cohesive. In terms of league-wide implications, the Raiders' positioning at the tail end of the season has created unique strategic considerations. While no fan enjoys losses, there is a pragmatic understanding that certain outcomes could benefit the franchise in the long run. Every game, every drive, every strategic choice matters in a larger context. Losing games with purpose, while counterintuitive from a fan's perspective, is part of the reality in professional sports where draft positioning can determine the trajectory of a team for years. The delicate balance of competing fiercely on the field while also thinking strategically about the future is a challenge that the Raiders must navigate with precision. Beyond the field, there's a cultural and emotional layer to this season that resonates with fans. Watching the highs and lows week after week fosters a sense of community, shared disappointment, and occasional exhilaration. Fans engage with the team not just as spectators, but as active participants in the narrative, discussing potential strategies, critiquing decisions, and celebrating flashes of brilliance. This dynamic keeps the team alive in the collective imagination, even when the scoreboard doesn't reflect the effort and passion displayed on the field. It's a reminder that football is as much about the journey, the emotions, and the stories as it is about the final tally of wins and losses. As we look ahead, the next 3 games are loaded with challenges that could define the season's legacy. Houston, the Giants, and Kansas City each present unique obstacles, but also opportunities to assess the team's growth, resilience, and readiness for the future. These match up. As we turn our attention to the Giants in Week 17, the anticipation is almost tangible. This is one of those games that every Raiders fan is quietly counting down to, the kind of matchup that hold a mix of dread and excitement. The Giants may not be at the top of the standings, but they are disciplined and capable of exposing weaknesses in any team that underestimates them. For the Raiders, it's another opportunity to test their mettle and see how far the roster has come over the course of this tumultuous season. Every decision on the field, every snap, every play call will be magnified, not just because of what's at stake in that single game, but because it's a critical step in assessing the future of the franchise. The coaching staff will have to balance preparation with adaptation, adjusting to what the Giants bring while keeping their own young talent focused and ready. This is also a moment to reflect on the performance of the team's key players. Geno Smith, if he returns healthy from the previous week's test in Houston, will be under the microscope more than ever. His ability to read the defense, make smart throws, and keep the offense moving could define how this game plays out. The Texans showed us the kind of defenses that can disrupt rhythm and pressure decision-making, and facing a Giants defense that is capable of capitalizing on mistakes adds another layer of complexity. Yet, within these challenges lies potential for growth. Young quarterbacks, offensive linemen, and skill players gain invaluable experience when forced to operate under pressure. And for the Raiders, each of these moments builds toward a more cohesive and battle-tested team for the future. Looking further ahead, Week 18 against the Kansas City Chiefs carries its own weight of anticipation. The Chiefs, even with recent injuries and setbacks, remain a historic franchise with talent and leadership that can change a game in an instant. There is a delicate balance here for the Raiders, approaching the game with intensity, yet also recognizing the broader strategic picture. The outcomes of these final games could influence the team's draft positioning and open the door for new leadership, new talent, and a refreshed approach to the next season. It's a strange paradox for fans, rooting for losses in order to secure a stronger future. But in the world of professional football, such strategic thinking can make the difference between years of mediocrity and the foundation for sustained success. On the defensive side of the ball, the Raiders have had their share of highs and lows. There are flashes of potential with young players making plays and learning the ropes, but inconsistencies have been a recurring theme. The next few games will provide critical insight into how well these players can execute against top-tier offenses. Matchups against Houston, the Giants, and Kansas City will test discipline, communication, and adaptability, all essential qualities for a defense aiming to become competitive at a high level. While the current numbers might not be flattering, the performances in these challenging scenarios could reveal hidden strengths and opportunities for the coaching staff to develop systems that maximize the roster's potential. It's impossible to ignore the broader narrative surrounding the Raiders this season. While the scoreboard has often been frustrating, the underlying story is one of growth, experimentation, and preparation for the future. Young players are learning in real time, coaches are evaluating talent under pressure, and every snap is a lesson that could shape the offseason. Fans may experience highs and lows in rapid succession, but there is a sense of continuity in following the team through adversity. It's about observing patterns, identifying areas for improvement, and maintaining a vision of what the franchise could become if lessons are learned and opportunities seized. The rookies, in particular, have shown flashes of brilliance that offer a glimpse into the team's potential. Charles Grant, Caleb Rogers, and others have displayed skills that, when nurtured correctly, could become foundational for the Raiders' success in the coming years. Grant's footwork, arm length, and overall athleticism hint at a player capable of influencing games at a high level. When paired with other developing talent, the possibilities expand, suggesting that the offensive line, historically a challenge for this franchise, could evolve into a more reliable unit. Watching these young players adapt and grow is a reminder that even in seasons filled with setbacks, there are seeds of progress being planted. Beyond individual talent, team dynamics and coaching strategies are under the microscope. There have been moments of puzzling decision-making, rotations that raise questions, and challenges in maintaining consistency. Yet, these same challenges have forced innovation and adaptation. Coaches are evaluating talent, experimenting with formations, and trying to identify which combinations work best under pressure. While the results may not always be immediately evident on the scoreboard, these strategic experiments are investments in the team's long-term development. The final 3 games serve not just as contests, but as laboratories where lessons are learned, young players gain experience, and the future of the franchise takes shape. Another crucial factor is the Raiders' approach to adversity. Facing top-tier opponents back-to-back-to-back, the team is confronted with scenarios that test both physical ability and mental toughness. How players respond to pressure, how they adapt to in-game challenges, and how they maintain focus despite a season that has not gone as hoped will be defining factors. Resilience becomes a currency in these games, and each snap, each play, and each adjustment on the field contributes to building a culture that could endure beyond a single season. Fans watching from home are part of this process, observing not just results, but the character and determination of the roster. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Las Vegas Raiders. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The Las Vegas Raiders are reportedly in turmoil as rumors swirl around a potentially season-altering injury to one of their key players. Sources close to the team suggest that the athlete, whose name has yet to be officially disclosed, may have suffered a significant injury during practice, leaving fans and analysts questioning the stability of the Raiders lineup for the months ahead. While the organization has remained tight-lipped, insiders hint that the situation could be serious enough to sideline the player for an extended period, throwing the team's plans into uncertainty. Speculation has intensified as the Raiders, who have been working hard to build momentum, now face a sudden and unexpected challenge. The loss of a star performer at this stage of the season could disrupt offensive or defensive strategies, depending on the position of the injured player. Coaches are reportedly scrambling to adjust, exploring depth chart alternatives, and considering how best to mitigate the impact of the setback. Team morale, according to insiders, could be affected as the locker room absorbs the news, with younger players potentially thrust into high-pressure roles earlier than anticipated. Some analysts are already predicting ripple effects across the league, noting that the Raiders' competitors may sense vulnerability and adjust their own game plans accordingly. If the injury proves severe, it could reshape trade discussions, draft strategies, and the team's overall trajectory for the season. Meanwhile, fans have taken to social media, expressing concern and speculating about who might be next in line to step up in the player's absence. The uncertainty has fueled debate among pundits, who are weighing whether the Raiders can maintain their competitive edge or if this development signals a turning point in a season full of high expectations. While official confirmation remains scarce, the whispers around Las Vegas suggest a critical juncture for the franchise. The coming weeks are expected to reveal the true scope of the injury and its impact, but one thing is clear. The Raiders may be entering a period of unforeseen challenge, and the eyes of the football world are watching closely to see how they respond. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Las Vegas Raiders, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.